Welcome back to the U.S.-Taiwan Roundtable discussions on the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host and program moderator, Wu Ruiguo. Now, in this segment, we will continue with our discussion on U.S.-Taiwan and cross-strait relations. But first, I'm going to give the opportunity to Deputy Minister Chao in terms of responding to the earlier comments made by Bi-khim on the issue of ECFA.
Thank you. The reason for the government wanting to sign an economic agreement with Mainland China is that, like I said, that China is very important economically to us. We need to keep our market share there. If we don't do that, the market share will be diluted by other countries. And also, like Bi-khim just said, the previous government tried but failed to sign similar agreements with other countries. And the answer lies in the other side. I think everyone knows that. So by tackling the problem, we are confident that this is a very important step towards more internationalization. So we are not talking about cross-strait, closer economic relations only. We are talking about how to build and institutionalize our economy with China by protecting our own investment and creating more opportunities for our business people. On top of that, we are also talking about how to get more internationalization by, without this economic agreement with China, I see the chances with a similar agreement with other countries are really very slim. So I think this must be understood. The name, why change? In the beginning, SECA is a good name. It's no SEPA. It's not the one signed between China and Hong Kong and Macau. But some people in this country, they try, deliberately try to create confusion on these two terms, so that we were forced to shift. SECA is really, been used by many countries.
Yes.
But anyway, whatever agreement signed between the two sides, it's not going to be similar, even close to the one between China and Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is Hong Kong. Hong Kong is already part of the People's Republic. China, I think let's have more confidence on us. Taiwan is no Hong Kong, so whatever agreement in the future, it's going to be two-way street. It's not going to be one-way street.
Okay.
Like the SEPA, it was basically given unilaterally by Hong Kong to
China.
Yes, China to Hong Kong.
Yeah, please.
Yes, but you have not answered Bi-khim's point in which he points out the political implications of
signing
this because of the possibility of China using this as leverage.
If there's time, I would be more than happy
Very
to.
quickly, 30 seconds.
Okay, if you would review the 6 agreements we signed last year with China, political language was not there. Period.
Yeah, and you don't think that political language will be part of this ECFA. How about you, Professor Wang? Would you have some comments on this ECFA issue?
Yeah, if that's the other one feels that we are unfair to making that, I will tend to that a little bit different with what she said. I think that Taiwan's closer economic relation with China is a natural tendency.
Yes.
Even in the DPP government, both the economic trade continue to grow, and Taiwan's dependence on its export to mainland China continue make steadiest growth,
yes.
Even in the DPP's ruling period. And I think not just Taiwan, but the ASEAN countries, Japan, South Korea, right now currently, their biggest export market is China rather than United States.
Yes.
I think that's a natural economic tendency, whether you like or not.
Okay.
Second, some the industry sector will be affected. I agree with what she said. Maybe it's not the major sectors in Taiwan, but still they employed some workers in Taiwan. If we wanted to lose the more jobs or create more unemployed, we still have to concern about their demand. In talking about ECFA.
Good. Thank you very much, Professor Wang.
Could I comment?
Sure, please, Ambassador, quickly.
Well, all of this has great implications for the United States as well. We'll leave to our Taiwan friends the debate, and we won't interfere in that. But clearly, as was pointed out, there are many free trade and related agreements taking place, which challenges our economy, our competitiveness.
Yes.
And I think the U.S. has to attack this on a multilateral, multi-layered front. First of all, try to help bring the Doha global negotiations to a conclusion. Secondly, revitalize APEC, which has been withering, and as Trans-Pacific organization, very important.
Yes.
Thirdly, on the bilateral level, we have an outstanding agreement on free trade with Korea. I hope that'll go forward. But here in Taiwan,
Yes.
we got beyond the intellectual property rights issue, which is good.
Government
but I hope we
procurement,
could
yes.
find a way to unfreeze TIFA.
Yes.
And I think we ought to be sending high-level cabinet officials, particularly in the economic area, to Taiwan and
Yes.
vice versa.
Yes. Well, those are very good suggestions.
I
Professor
know
Wang.
it will be a little bit idealistic, but since we have American friends here, if the United States can sign a free trade agreement with Taiwan, I think that will be more balanced for Taiwan to promote ECFA with China. We will have the
We'll see if
that
we'll
kind
have-
of arrangement with two big powers at the
Yes.
same time.
We'll
Yeah.
see if we have time at the end of the program that we can come back to this issue. Because now we're going to shift our focus back to international space issue for Taiwan. That is traditionally been one of the most politically sensitive issues between the two sides, between China and Taiwan. And we know that in less than a month, the World Health Assembly, WHA, will meet in Geneva. And Taiwan's been knocking on the door, trying to become an observer for past, I don't know how long, 15, 20 years. And there's been no success. And this year, of course, is the first time that since President Ma Ying-jeou's inauguration that Taiwan has petitioned to become a full-fledged observer with the WHA. And Deputy Minister, would you share with us then what are the government's view about WHA prospects this year? And just in case, knock on wood, it's not going to happen, but just in case that Taiwan doesn't get in to the WHA as an observer this year, how much of an impact adversely will it have on cross-strait relations in general?
Well, international space is very important to us, not only to our government, but to the general public also. Since taking office in less than a year ago, I think progress has been made in some areas. Take the WHO, for example. We have been able to be participating in many professional meetings held by the organization since 2005. When KMT former chairman met with his Chinese counterpart Hu Jintao in that year. But nevertheless, our participation has been indirect. All those invitation letters have been coming from mainland China, Beijing. But since this past January, we have been able to reverse that. From then on, we have already established a direct point of contact with WHO. So since from now on, we don't need to go to Beijing any longer. We can receive and participate in all sorts of activities and meetings held and sponsored by the WHO. Of course, to be able to gain a membership is the ultimate goal, but we understand it's not going to be likely in the short term. It has failed in the past 12 years since we try our best to gain a membership, to regain our membership at the WHO. This year, we have a good chance because cross-strait relations are much better, improved. Yes. And all those international partners, including the United States, Japan, and Europe, they have voiced the support, including other countries like Singapore. So, but that's not the case last year because last year the government wanted to. In the past, the previous government wanted to be to gain a full-fledged member at the WHO, and they opted for entry. To entering instead of re-entry.
Yes.
So that became a lot very difficult.
Yeah.
This year we do have some chances are there.
Yeah.
However, if we fail again, I'm sure cross-strait relations are going to be affected. As to how much impact we would have to see.
Wait and see. Okay. Well, let's shift over to the American friends. And Professor Zagoria, I know that you've heard in the words former U.S. Secretary of State and the current Secretary of State, that United States supports the meaningful participation of Taiwan on the international stage. And would you think that there is a role for the United States to play in terms of bringing two sides, China and Taiwan, closer on this issue of international space?
Well, let me just say that I think the United States government has made it quite clear to the PRC government, as has Track 2 organizations such as the National Committee, made it clear to them that international space is probably the highest priority for the Ma government, and that if progress in cross-strait relations is to continue, it needs the support of the Taiwan people, and the Taiwan people are very concerned about this issue. So I am optimistic that there is going to be some compromise on this issue. My guess is it will be on a year-to-year basis.
Precisely.
But that the compromise will be satisfactory to all sides. And I think the Chinese government understands the importance of this issue. That is the impression I get from the conversations we have with them.
Yes. Okay, good. And Ambassador,
comment,
please.
I agree completely with that. I make two other comments. First, I would hope there be more movement beyond the WHA as we go forward.
Yes.
A point that I underlined in a speech I gave today.
Yes.
And secondly, it's not only a matter of showing the fruits of Ma's initiatives, which you maintain support, which is in Beijing's interest, but on the merits of the case, given Taiwan's size and influence. Finally, a caveat on WHA. I hope that Taiwan will get in, but what is also crucial is how Beijing characterizes this. If they say they're now in the WHA thanks to the generosity of Beijing and they're part of our delegation or some kind of formulations like that, they could undercut the goodwill and the progress that could be made.
And the repercussion domestically would be severe. And 30 seconds, Michelle. What will be the DPP reaction if we don't attain full observer status this year at the WHA?
Well, first of all, we've been working on this for many years, and we understand it is not difficult. It is not an easy task. However, we do insist that joining international organizations has to be done in a way that provides Taiwanese people with the dignity and the right that they have in the international community. We would rather not to see some kind of negotiation take place where our dignity, our sovereignty is seriously compromised or insulted. But beyond that, there are also many international organizations and NGOs, and this year our women have had difficulties attending international women NGOs. And I think, with this diplomatic truce that President Ma has called out towards China, we have not seen due reciprocation on part of the Chinese. And this is certainly something the WHA will be a test case, but it is not the only case.
Yes. Well, we certainly had a very good start on the latest developments in U.S.-Taiwan and cross-strait relations. And we will continue this first ever policy dialogue on Taiwan television between policymakers and analysts from the United States and Taiwan next week on the Taiwan Outlook. I'll see you on Macroview Television.